Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast for me, Jason.
And me, Jennifer.
Have a few drinks.
And talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Guide to Poor Parenting. That is not correct anymore. What is it? I thought I would fix that. Hold on. The hell is it? Yeah,
Guide to Poor Parenting at Instagram, and then Poor Parent Pod on Twitter and Facebook.
That's it. Thank you. I don't know. Mine looks different. I guess I don't have the old ones in there yet. Either way, thank you all for listening, because this is our season finale episode.
Woo-hoo!
Season 2.
Woo-hoo!
30, let's see, 20. We had 24 episodes. Well, this will be the 25th episode of this season.
Look at us go.
And then we had 13 of the first season, so we're at 39?
That's a lot.
39 episodes.
Yeah.
Go us.
Yay.
A little pandemic project going on. We figured out the other day how long we've been doing it now.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Why do I ask Jennifer questions?
I don't remember, when we started it.
Hey, Jennifer, what's my middle name? You remember that?
Thomas.
There you go.
I knew that. Got it right. Yes.
Oh, Miss Jennifer, how's your week been?
It's okay. Just trying to deal with a 12-year-old that, doesn't want to.
That knows everything?
Yeah, and nothing's ever his fault.
Oh, hell no.
He got kicked off the bus going to the Boys and Girls Club. Only has like a 10-minute bus ride and got kicked off. So I had to take my lunch at 2:30. Mind you, I work 7 to 4. So I left at 2:30, picked him up, drove him to the Boys and Girls Club, dropped him off. Was even able to go home, let the dogs out real quick, and then get to work with only 2 minutes because of traffic. Of over my hour lunch.
Wow.
But then I worked for 30 minutes and then went right back home again. So, yeah, that wasn't fun.
Had you already taken the lunch break?
Nope.
Well, how did you know he was going to get kicked off?
Wednesday, I went to pick him up, and she came out and gave me a piece of paper and says he can't ride the bus tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, he can't ride again until the next day, which Friday was the e-learning day, and then they have fall break, so it's, until, I guess, Monday he gets to ride.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, this episode is probably the closest we will ever get to recording our episodes in real time.
Really?
Well, because this will come out tomorrow, Monday the 2nd, October 2nd.
Okay.
So yeah, we've never released them that quickly before. But
look at us go.
I know. Well, it's just because of my bad planning, because we should have recorded those last weekend.
Oh, okay.
But whatever.
Yeah.
You gonna ask me about my week?
Yes, I'm gonna ask you about your week. Jason, how has your week been?
My week's been okay. Well, it was pretty good. Up until an hour ago when we were getting ready to go grocery shopping, and Claire was watching a show and drawing, and I walked in the living room, I was like, hey, baby girl, and I and calm and sweet, I was like, when you get to a pausing spot on your drawing, could you go fold your laundry, please? And she picked up her pad that she was drawing and threw it.
Oop.
And not far, but
she threw it.
Yeah, and I'm not feeling great today. I think I caught something from Zane, so I'm just tired and kind of a little achy and not feeling good.
Yeah.
And it set me the fuck off.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and I was trying not to scream at her, but I was very pissed.
Oh yeah.
And then I came home afterward. We just got back from grocery shopping about 20 minutes ago, and I was like, come here. I'm sorry I yelled at you, but please don't do that again. That was ridiculous for me just asking you to do something you're supposed to do anyway.
Right.
And especially I think the thing that bothers me the most is when you're trying to be sweet, you're trying to be nice, like, hey, get to a stopping point, not asking you to stop immediately, just get to a spot, and then do it.
Yep.
And we get a temper tantrum.
Yep.
So, and right now we have a big fat cat chasing the little baby kitty.
Aw, be nice.
I know. We lost our dog. This was the beginning of the year, right? Or was that when we lost Aria?
I think so.
Yeah. We lost Aria back at the beginning of the year, and Zane stole a big fat cat from one of his dead patients.
He did not steal it. Don't be lying on your husband.
Well, no, one of his patients was dying, and the partner of the patient was like, please take the cat.
Yep.
And Zane was like, well, why don't we wait till your partner dies?
Right.
And this person was like, no, take it now. And so Zane waited till the person passed. And then we got a 23-pound ginger that is sweet but very dedicated to Zane.
Yeah.
And I was feeling a little lonesome and jealous because I've never had a cat. I would say I've never had a cat like that, but our cat before these two, Eartha, was very dedicated to Justin.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want a cat that loves me.
Right.
So,
Because you miss Arya cuddling and snoring all over you.
yes. So I was like, let's go to the shelter, and we found this little cream calico, and he's just a love bug,
Oh yeah,
Mr.
I love
Milo.
him so much.
But he is. That fat Buddy or fat ginger cat picks on Milo so much.
I know.
We'll hear Milo just screaming because Buddy's got him trapped and kicking him.
Oh,
That poor baby. Oh, well, Miss Jennifer, it's the end of season 2.
Yes, it is.
What are we drinking today?
We are drinking our favorite box wine.
Bourbon
It is
Barrel.
Boda Box Bourbon Barrel Cabernet.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
It's even longer. I just was like,
I don't want to write all that stuff
yeah,
down.
I was doing it off memory, but yeah, this is our go-to.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer drinks it year round. I usually wait till it gets colder and then I'll drink it. But yeah, it's good. It's not overly sweet.
Nope.
But it's got a good depth of flavor to it.
It's got a high alcohol content because of the bourbon barrel part of it. So, yay.
And we ain't fancy.
No, we ain't see it all.
But I will tell you, we've been pulling back the curtain for our adoring fans, all 11 of you. Hi, Mom. We've been recording some episodes for season 3, some guests interviews, and one of my we were interviewing someone, and I was drinking a glass of wine because we just got some new wine glasses, and I looked down and I had a big old crack in mine.
Yeah.
So Zane had to replace it, and then Jennifer came over yesterday and was pouring herself some wine, and she sat down and I was like, "Oh, there's a crack in your glass too.
Yeah.
Different style, not part of the set." It's like, God damn it, what's going on with these?
Yeah, they just cracked. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's the
Blame it
dishwasher.
on the dishwasher. Yeah.
I would say blame it on the kids. They don't do dishes, so.
Well, that and they don't drink wine.
True. Well, they could just be loading it wrong, but either way.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you make Wesley load the dishwasher?
No.
Yeah.
Well, my dishwasher's broke. And
it works, right? It's just the door
works.
flops.
The door just slams. Like it doesn't go down slowly. So, and then it also it's not connected to the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing moves forward and hits the counter. So everything just kind of tries to slide out.
Gotcha.
So I put my foot underneath it. This is the child that put grilled cheese in the toaster. So
that's true.
And
the sad thing about that dishwasher, we gave you when we bought the house we're recording in. We gave you that dishwasher from this house 4 years ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll put it in for you." Okay.
4 years later, it's still in the dog room.
Sorry.
Just collecting dust.
Maybe for Christmas we'll have Chewy come out and put it in for you.
Okay.
That sounds like a good Christmas.
That's a good Christmas present. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Well, I cannot believe we made it through 2 seasons. I'm really proud of us for second season.
Yeah.
Because the first season we had a big long break in there because of my hips. So whatever. And I was kind of disappointed we were able to do it, but we've been really, I don't know, dedicated, but we've been working really hard this season.
We've been on it.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of us.
Yeah, me too.
So the whole, I don't know if any of our listeners have noticed, but we've been doing, for every one interview of a friend or another parent, we'll do 2 solo ones.
Right.
And it works pretty well because we can crank, Jennifer and I can crank out 2 episodes in a row, pull in 1 interview, and it's practically a month.
Yeah.
And so it gives us a lot of leeway, and we don't have to, because the first season it was 1 interview, 1 of us, or 1 solo, and it was a little hard to keep up with.
It was, and then it was, COVID, and, you have someone scheduled to come over and interview, and then it's like, oh, I got COVID, so I can't come over, and then we were, everybody's scheduling, oh, my kid's sick, oh, this, so it was a lot. Yeah, but I think with me and you, I'm over here every weekend anyways,
Yeah,
so it's like, let's just crank it out, so...
And I've had fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I hope our listeners, I realize we're still building our listener base up again.
Right.
But I hope y'all are enjoying it. We're having fun doing it.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have already put in the can 4 interviews of the 8 we're planning for next season.
Yeah.
So we'll crank out, our solo interviews coming up pretty quick, and then we'll have a little time probably around like end of November or end of October, early November to get the rest of the interviews in.
Okay.
So, or even we might even be able to wait till January because we've got so many.
It's already stockpiled. I don't know what the word for that. But yeah.
What is it? There's a term for it. Not canned, but cached.
I don't know. That's
There's
why
a
I
term
said
for it.
stockpiled question marks. So.
Yeah. Since I don't know, it makes it a lot easier when we do that.
Definitely.
Because we don't always record every single weekend, and we can't do it on the weekdays because we're just too busy as parents.
Yep.
And especially because Jennifer gets Wesley to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
I do not. I raised his bedtime to 8 o'clock now.
Woo! 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but I mean, he needs it. Well, because
I know.
he gets up at like 5:50 every morning. So because I bring him over here at 6:30, so it's not like he just needs that extra sleep.
Do you think he's actually getting it though?
I think so. I do. Just some days are better than, or some nights are better than others. But I do think he's getting it. There were a couple weeks there where I was like, oh Lord, he's not sleeping. He's, I wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, and then his bedroom light is on, and I'm like, why are, and I open up the door and he's looking at me, and I'm like, why are you not asleep? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. But I think I wake him up by opening the door because, he's still. Ever since that person broke our window, any noise that he hears, he's like, Mom, what's that? Kind of thing. So even though I have the security system and I got cameras and I got all this stuff, he's still a little paranoid about it. So
I was giving him shit about that today because my son Justin called me probably about noonish, somewhere in there, and was like asking me, someone tried to break into his car. He bought Zane's old sedan.
Right.
Pardon me, I'm trying not to snort in the microphone. But he bought Zane's old sedan, and he called me at noon saying, "Oh, someone tried to break into the car last night because he had been drinking and didn't want to drive home."
Which I'm proud of him for that,
especially since he's gotten a DUI in the past.
Yes,
but and so when I came, when you and Wesley came over, I was like, oh, someone tried to break into Justin's car. And Wesley's like, why do you let anybody do that?
Yeah, I would never.
Yeah. And I was just like, well, you let someone break into your house. He's like, I wasn't there. I'm like, that's not the point. You let someone break in. It's like, you stupid fucking kid. It's like, you can't be around your car 24/7.
Right.
And you can't be around your house 24/7.
Yeah.
So shut
and
up.
you just got to explain to him because he doesn't think about things. He just blurts shit out, and it's just like,
I could never.
Okay, yeah, you could, because this kind of thing happens and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. That's my son for you.
Yeah, it's your son, but we love him.
We do.
And him and Khalil are an endless supply of stories for this podcast.
Definitely.
Jennifer and I are pretty staunch about not letting the kids be, we don't want to put them on social media. We might post an occasional photo on Facebook.
Yep.
But that's about it. But admittedly, we're not doing a ton of social media for the podcast. We're trying to get better at it.
Right.
But even then, we probably won't ever see our kids in it just because we don't want them out there and exposed.
Yeah.
And frankly, if this podcast ever takes off, it'll be kind of a pain for us too, because we'll have to figure out, we'll have to start shutting down our personal social medias. But right now we don't have that problem with 11 listeners.
No, not yet.
But what did you think of the season? How did you think it went?
I think it went well. I enjoyed our conversations, and I enjoyed our guests as well. I had fun.
Yeah, I do too.
Got to drink some weird drinks. Good ones and not so good ones, but
Remember the Costco advent calendar?
Yep.
I felt so bad because I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I thank you so much for giving me, but that stuff was so nasty.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you asked for it. I was like, I shouldn't have said that to her because it was shitty.
You did ask for
I
it.
know. I was like, I shouldn't have. You shouldn't complain about the gift someone gives you.
Right.
But I was just like, oh, don't ever. I don't know if the box we got had just been like heated up and cooled down or something, but it was barely any of the wines were good.
No.
Most of them were just average. Well, I would say the best we ever got was just an average quality wine, and a lot of them were gross.
Yeah.
Either just like bland or like sour or
Yeah. I think most of them.
yeah. Even the best ones were just bland
Yeah.
at best.
It's
So,
sad. But it's okay.
It's okay. We still actually have probably about 5 bottles left. Because I was just like, I don't want to drink it.
Christmas party, we'll give it to other people.
God. Oh, you know what? I'll cook with some of them, and I'll what's the word? I will, we can make some like mulled wine or some shit like that.
There you go.
There you go.
We'll use it up. What about you? How do you think the season went?
I thought it went really well. I was, I think most of the people, or I think almost all our guests were really fun and interesting. Very few of them, I say very few, but I can't even think of anybody that wasn't talkative and had a good story.
No. Everybody
all of them had a really good story.
Yeah.
There was some of them I kind of wish we had structured it a little bit more, or I think we also got better at interviewing parents too. Because like at first we were like, so tell us, and we just kind of, it would trail off. But I feel like we've gotten better at that aspect of it. Trying to think. Do you have any standouts? I'm trying. Jennifer and I were going through the old outlines to see. Let's see. Who do we have?
Well, one of my favorites was Drew because she's my best friend and I've family and I've known her forever. And
I think Lindsay was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Just because she has such an she has an interesting story. Miss Linda.
But yeah, I like Drew and I liked Aunt Nancy too.
Yeah.
She had some good stories. So.
And I feel so bad because I went to go edit that and her microphone sounded so far away. So I apologize to our listeners. Like, I'm still trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Every time we record something, I sound check us. And sometimes it sounds good to me. And then I start playing it back and I'm like, oh, what the hell happened?
Right.
So, and if the recording you're hearing now sounds a little different, I just bought a new podcast recorder. It's like the PodTrack P4.
Ooh.
But
she fancy.
I know, but it's really cool, and I'm glad I got it because it gives me some backup options.
Yeah, and it's little compared to the mixer that you had before.
And it gives me like the thing I didn't like about the mixer before was it would all 4, like I could put 4 microphones into it, but it would reduce everything to a single channel. So I couldn't, like, if your microphone was acting funny or sounded distant, I couldn't bump it up.
Right.
But this one, it condenses everything to a single track similarly, but it also gives me backups where I've got all 4 tracks.
That's nice.
So I can back them up. So I'm happy about that.
Yay.
So hopefully the sound quality will get better and better as we go.
There you go. We hope so.
I hope so too. I'm trying to think what... Our memories, Jennifer and I's memories is so bad. I'm trying to think about any of the story times that just stood out to me, but think of anything. Can you?
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, half the time it's like on our outline it's like guest choice, or we'll just figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, well, I will say the Ayana and the kitty litter, that was a good one. Now that you gave me a second to kind of think about the story time. I don't remember any of the unfortunately any of our guests' story time, but that one is always a good one right there, with her getting in the kitty litter, making a kitty litter angel.
Blech.
That's fun. And then
biased here, but my mom's story about her sisters falling into the outhouse.
Oh God, yes. I forgot about that. That was hilarious. Clea saying that they're not her biological family.
Did I say that one?
Yeah, well, it's on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just supposed to, I saw one that Kalia said was giving me sass, saying at least my hip doesn't hurt.
Oh yeah. Or when she rode the ride at the fair, and you were very proud of her for that, even though she just boo-hooed like a baby when she got off and just ran right to Grandpa. Was just like, oh my God.
Oh, I just saw the Wesley getting his head shaved one.
Oh my God. Was that this season?
That was this season. That
just makes me feel some type of way there. And then Wesley saying that my head hurt. He was glad my head hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
These kids are hard.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping to see for season 2? 3?
3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about
All right,
season 2
hush.
right now.
Leave me alone.
Drink some more wine there, Jason. I mean, just continuing to have fun, to be honest. I don't ever want to have this feel like a job.
Yeah.
I always want to have fun. I want to, hear people's stories. I want to be able to kind of, I guess, well, I'm trying to better myself, so other people's stories help with that, I think, too, to, to see if they're, how they do in different situations.
Right.
Because, everybody parents different. And then, some people just have one person, some have two, some have a whole bunch, so it's kind of fun to hear and learn.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. I think I'm, we've already recorded 4 interviews, and I'm excited for the Melissa when it come out, because both Melissas we've gotten have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they're both hoots and hollers
Hoots
for
and
very
hollers.
different, for very different reasons.
Yeah, definitely. What about what are you hoping for in season 3? More listeners?
More listeners. Yeah. my goal. Well, my 3 big goals for the podcast are more listeners. We're getting a steady. Not steady, but we're getting a gradual increase in the number of listeners every episode. So I'm hoping that continues, that upward trend continues. If this never makes any money, that's fine. It's been a lot of fun.
Yep.
We've met some really cool people.
Yes.
I
mean, met them one day, and for 2 hours you met old dude, and then that next weekend he came over with his wife.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember their
Ashton.
names. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I mean, you just met and then you learned so much about them. They were cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something I've really treasured. But I would say the steady increase of listeners. I wanted to start doing more social media stuff.
I'm trying.
Well, I think it's something we both have to learn how to I don't, ever since the 2016 election, I don't post anything on social media.
Yeah.
Getting on social media just kind of made me mad. So I don't get on there much anymore.
Right.
But now that we're trying to increase the listenership, I met a gentleman just recently who does social media stuff professionally, and he said, you have to interact with people. So, following more people, interacting with stories, posting our own stuff, getting consistent about posting when new episodes come out, that kind of thing. And then I'm praying that by the end of season 3, we're over 100 listeners.
Okay.
I don't know per episode, but right now the highest listened episode we have, I think it was actually yours, which was 38 last time I looked.
Okay.
So I think people are we did a little bit of advertising at Shenanigans. So. And
I tell anybody that will listen that I at work that I know, and people at the company picnic a couple of weekends ago, I was talking to. I was like, yeah, I got a podcast, and they were like, oh. And then, and maybe that helps too, just word of mouth. And then I went on my Facebook and I posted, hey, if anybody wants to listen to something, here's something to listen to. So,
yeah. And and I think my third goal is to try and, I've seen some YouTube videos about how to promote your podcast, and they said the best way to do it is get on other people's podcasts and talk. So there's several podcasts out there. But I will say there's a website called matchmakerfm.fm.
Okay.
It's like Tinder, but for podcast guests and hosts.
Oh, okay.
And I have a profile for the podcast, but because this is just kind of a passion project for me and Jay, I don't have any fancy equipment just yet.
Yeah.
I have very minimal, amateurish, stuff.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars for something that's meh. But all the people that want to come on the podcast are far away and not local, so it's a bit of a pain. But I'm gonna try and create a profile for myself and try and get on other people's podcasts if I can. But I was gonna say that I was looking at the podcasts that are looking for guests. There are hundreds of them, but you know how when you're on Google, you can go page 1 to page 2, page 3.
Yeah.
Same thing with this one, but it's probably about 3/4 of the way down the first page, you start seeing a big drop off in the it goes from they're posting every week to nothing.
Oh.
So it's like I think a lot of people have done this whole podcasting thing and just let it just dry up.
I gotcha.
And I can see why.
Right.
It's been a challenge for us just to do as much as we have.
Right.
Even though I feel like we've been really good this season.
Yeah.
It's still a challenge.
Yeah.
So.
And I listen to podcasts where they do multiple a week, and I'm just like, how the fuck do you do that?
Oh, yeah, that's their job.
That is like a lot of work. Well, some of them have quit their jobs to make it their job because they just did it so well. And they have a lot, most of the ones I listen to are like the murder ones. So, they have a lot of stories that they can, get to talk about. So,
yeah. I don't know if ours will ever get to the point. I'm hoping it'll earn money someday. But I think we have to get we have to be really consistent about putting out episodes. And we have been this season.
Yeah.
But I think we have to do it for at least 2 or 3 more before we get a significant amount.
Right. Go on the YouTube, do the YouTube thing. And you want to do the no picture, but just like us talking with like a background. And then you said eventually you want to make me be on camera. I don't want to, but I love you.
But
so I'll
Jennifer's
do it
so
for
beautiful.
You. Oh, I love you. That's why you're my best friend.
So I have hope. Even if, like I said, even if season 3, doesn't get us huge amount of listeners.
Yeah.
As long as we're making steady increases and we're having fun.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I've maybe put probably $400 into this podcast.
Yeah. And we've had, we're on our 3rd season, so I mean, we've gotten the
hang of it.
Your money.
Yeah. Well, I've spent a lot more money on stupider things.
Yeah.
So, just recently, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that actually is a good segue because I was going to let our listeners know so this will be the last episode for season 2.
Yep.
We're going to take a small break and we'll be back on October 30th.
Okay.
We need
Day before Halloween.
Yeah. We need a little time to bank some solo episodes. Bank, that's the term I was looking for.
There you go. See, I knew it comes to you eventually.
We got to have a little time to bank some episodes.
Well, and then you're out of town for a whole weekend.
Yeah. And when I got birthdays to do.
Yeah, birthdays and.
So.
Yeah, it's just the time right now to take a little break. Yeah. But we will be back.
Yes,
Don't worry.
Yeah,
if you see 2 Mondays with no episodes, it's okay. That 3rd Monday, something's there.
Yeah.
Because we've banked some. Now that we know the word, I can say it.
We're excited. And we're for the, few listeners we have that do listen regularly, we really appreciate you.
Definitely.
And like we say every time, if you have any funny stories about your kids, please write into us.
Yep.
No one has done it yet. Yep. Again, it's because we don't have a dedicated listenership enough to do it. But we really appreciate anything you got.
Definitely. Or the bad parenting advice that we always, if you got some topics you want us to talk about, that you feel like you're having some trouble with your kid, and you can see what we would do in that situation, go ahead.
Yeah.
Email or you can, go on Instagram and send us a message, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. We'll take whatever you got.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's hard for us to come up with topics because we're like, did we already do that one? Okay, well, what should we talk about this week? And so, because, it's funny because it's like, we've already done hygiene, and now there's like new different types of hygiene that come up, as the kids get older and, start getting bumps on their faces and stuff. So it's...
Their nether regions.
Yep. So it's like, we probably will, have the same topic a couple times just because everything changes as they get older. But
I suspect we'll have like the education and the homework and the school-related stuff, especially because it's such a big part of their lives.
Yes.
And actually, one thing I would like to do for season 3 is I want to have some of our guests back from season 1.
Okay.
I want to see if Gwen will come out.
Okay.
She's always a hoot and holler.
Because now she's got graduated kids.
Yeah, the boys are all graduated and actually got kicked out of, not kicked out, but they severed our match with Big Brothers Big Sisters because they aged out. Yep. So, drama. 10 years I had those boys.
Oh, but you still kind of
I still do, but they don't
They're
call me ever.
They're just teenagers now, so they don't want to talk with you. But, it's a teenager thing, so.
This is true. Well, so... for our 11 listeners, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
Or if you need some bad parenting advice.
email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com.
Please and thank you.
Please. Miss Jennifer, what are we snacking on?
Ooh, we went to the grocery store earlier and you wanted some fancy cookies and I was like, oh, get the white chocolate macadamia cookies and they're so moist and
soft.
And soft. Sorry if anyone doesn't like that word.
Soft? I think everyone likes soft.
No, the moist more one. But yeah, so
Yeah, these are really good.
Really, really good. And they pair well with our bourbon barrel wine. Woo!
I don't usually even like white chocolate cookies, but these are really good.
Well, I'm glad. I didn't realize you didn't like white chocolate cookies, but white chocolate is probably one of my favorite chocolates. So,
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
It doesn't even have like the most caffeine or whatever to it because it's the
It's not really chocolate.
yeah, but it's my favorite. I don't know why.
Huh.
But yeah, so instead of having our regular story time for this finale, we decided to do some Reddit stories.
Yeah.
So you've got two and I've got two. I just figured back and forth.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And
yeah, we were hoping to do some like user submitted ones, but no one submitted anything, so
Not yet.
Not yet.
One day. That's what, put it out in the world. One day we will have them. Do you want to go first on the Reddit story?
Sure.
Okay.
Here's okay. I have the adoption one. Let's see. So this is from Useful Marketing 5944.
Okay.
In Reddit, it says the title is "My parents are angry that I asked if I was adopted and refusing to talk about it." So the story goes, my aunt told me I'm adopted and my parents never wanted to tell me. She told me to keep it secret from my parents that she told me, but I needed to know, so I asked and they just looked at each other and my dad said, we're not talking about this. And they've been cold to me since and they have banned me from talking to my aunt. I feel like this confirms it. If I wasn't adopted, they would be like, wow, that was an asshole thing to say. You're definitely not adopted.
Ooh.
Hey, Kalia, would you close the door, baby girl? Thank you, honey. I'm almost done with it. You can have the thing back. Kalia just walked out in the middle of the podcast, and she's like...
I had to snap at her, and she gave me a mean look.
Ugh. She was after the cell phone charger, because I'm using it for the recorder.
Yeah, and that's why I told her no, because I knew that's why you were using it. Yeah. But, I mean...
I'm just amazed that anybody can keep it secret nowadays.
Right.
It must have been an in-family adoption.
Maybe, but why would you have such a strong and tell her, and then just I don't understand because there's nothing to be ashamed of. You chose to, you chose this person to raise.
I mean, yeah. It must be an older person because it just doesn't happen nowadays. Like back when my brother was adopted, and he's almost 50, it was pretty common, and they even tried to give kids to parents so they looked like the parents, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But nowadays, shit, it's
I got a black baby.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, you can't do a closed adoption barely unless the parent specifically says they want the bio parent specifically says it.
Yeah.
So, but that would suck.
That would suck
To have lived your whole life thinking one thing,
and then not even get the confirmation whether you are or not, and then get didn't she get shunted out? Shunted away,
being cold to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a child, I just can't imagine.
No, that's mean.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, just own these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Secrets are not healthy.
No.
Yeah.
Secrets always come out. Mm-hmm. What's done in the dark comes into the light.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're talking about me pooping in the kitchen?
Yep,
okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so mine is by Curious 1417, and it says, my 4-year-old son always gets toothpaste all over his shirt, pants, sink, floor, every time he brushes. It usually makes us late because I have to clean it, and I get so frustrated. The other day he came out ready and as usual had toothpaste everywhere. I started getting angry and getting onto him, and through tears in his eyes he said, Mom, I'm little. Sometimes I can't do things right. I felt like a knife had stabbed me in the chest. I got on his level, squeezed him tight, and told him I was sorry, and he was right. I try to do better now and have more patience. He has no idea how those words have affected my reaction from other 4-year-old quote-unquote mishaps. Aww.
Kids will
baby.
just, yeah.
No filter, but...
No filter.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just like, kids will, what is the truth from the mouth of babes or whatever it is? Sometimes they'll just cut right through. And
oh,
just
yeah,
like,
definitely.
Woo.
Yeah, my thing is like, if you know this is going to happen, don't let him get dressed until he brushes his teeth, and do it a little earlier, and then you won't have that problem.
But none of us are perfect.
I know, and this is hindsight.
Yeah.
You know, this is not Wesley doing it every day kind of thing. So, I can say that now, but I don't know what I would in that, at that moment.
Well, and I think also, like, even with stuff that Wesley does now, you'll look back and you'll be like,
I should have done.
Yeah, that is the absolute truth of parenthood. You always look back and you're like, I should have done better, differently. Yeah. I remember I asked Kalia one time, I was kind of being silly, but kind of truthful. I was like, is there anything you ever need to tell me? And she's like, sometimes I feel like you don't listen to me. Like,
Aww.
you'll be on your phone and you're not paying attention to me. That just ripped my little fucking heart out. Because sometimes I'll just like be stretched on the couch, playing on TikTok or my phone, doing something.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me something and I'm kind of half-assed listening to her. So I've tried to be better about, putting my phone down and actually engaging with her.
Right.
But, them kids.
Ooh.
Right in the heart.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
All right, your turn.
This one, it's a throwaway. It says throwaway and a bunch of numbers.
Okay.
Title is, I am no longer willing to live with my mean daughter, 14F. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's super long.
Okay.
It says, I posted this on Am I the Asshole? And someone suggested trying here because it is more of an advice situation than an asshole situation. Although I feel like an asshole. I, 38 female, no longer feel willing to live with my 14 female daughter, Abby, and might send her to boarding school. I'm at my wit's end. Around 11 or 12, Abby really changed, and she seems like she genuinely hates me. I don't know how else to put it, and I have no idea what might have caused it. No matter what we try, Abby is relentlessly unkind to me when we're in the house together. At first, it was immature kid stuff, like telling me I was ugly and fat and smelly.
Ooh.
As she got older, this behavior got worse and more sophisticated. She makes specific comments about my flaws, and every day now, like, you can see your cellulite through your pants, Mom.
Oh, damn.
She'll tell me I'm getting older and I should be worried her dad will leave me for a younger woman. She'll also play pranks, in quotation marks, replacing my expensive moisturizer with expired milk. Ugh.
Oh, damn.
Hiding or destroying my clothes, and she once even crawled up behind me while I was working from home on a video call and cut off the bottom of my ponytail.
Oh, shit.
God damn. She has hidden and damaged my work materials more than once. She doesn't behave like this towards her dad, 40 male, or her brother, 16 male. I feel like I should be strong enough not to care, but this behavior has really impacted my life. I feel incredibly self-conscious of my appearance, and it's hard to get dressed in the morning. I'm less confident at work and around our friends. I find myself dreading being in my own house if Abby's going to be there, staying longer at work, going to the gym after work, and asking my husband to cook, going right to our room when I get home to avoid her. I feel guilty and embarrassed about avoiding my family. There's a whole bunch here too. I've tried everything, but I was like, it's like 2 more paragraphs, and I was like,
that 14-year-old would be at military school?
Well, you say that, but we looked that up. And
No, we would take out fucking loans and put a second mortgage on the house. Oof. That baby would be gone.
I mean, I think I've seen this behavior sometimes, but I don't know how I would cope with, like, especially if they're just constantly cruel like that.
Yeah, she's not even like, that is like cutting the hair and like, oh, wow.
I feel like something happened though, because that, especially she said in the comment or in the story, she made it sound like it was pretty dramatic. So I'm wondering if like there was some sort of sexual assault that Mom doesn't know about, or something happened and she's
just taking it out on Mom.
Yeah.
Only.
Or maybe Mom did something to hurt her feelings and she's not coping with it, but she hasn't talked to her mom about it.
Gotcha. Therapy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we say all these things, but it's like these are rich people's solutions too. I don't know, like, I always think about I honestly, I think I'd be like, if we were not, even if Kalia got really bad and I was, I don't think we could afford a military school for 4 years, but I think I'd be like, hey, relative,
Yeah.
can you take them for a while? Because they've just gotten so abusive.
Yeah, but when you worry that they would be abusive towards the relative?
Well, they said they weren't abusive to father and brother.
Oh, that's true.
So it seems everything's going out on mom.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like if they're behaving towards everybody else except for me, I think I'd be like, with Kiki, with Kalia's mom, I've got an option to like, hey, Kiki, take her for a bit.
Right.
But oh God, I don't know what I would do.
I would be like, hey, well, if Kalia did it, I'd be like, hey, just come stay over at my house. I got an extra bed.
Yeah.
And just let her stay here with Zane. And,
I mean,
because you don't want to, mess up the routine.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have the relative maybe get some type of, even though she's okay with dad, but maybe she doesn't like females.
Maybe.
I don't know, but that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. All right. What's your last one?
My last one is a little long, so I apologize, but it's by Select Researcher 28. They say, my son just turned 5 last week. He's always been a particular little boy, stubborn and headstrong. Must be a Taurus. My wife and I have very different approaches to it. I tend to make compromises while she can be almost as stubborn as him. She is a great mom, but I think she can be too harsh. When he was 3, he started to go through the typical phase of leaving bed to come to our room. My wife would not allow it. She would take him back to his own bed each time. We took turns sleeping on the floor till he was asleep for nearly every night for a year.
What?
Until he stopped coming completely. Not once did she let him in our bed. There were times I said I wouldn't mind him sleeping with us, and she told me she didn't want it to become a habit. I went along with it, but felt bad when he would ask to sleep in our bed, and we always would say no, even if he had a nightmare or was sick. That is one example. Another is there was a time she made him a bowl of ice cream that he refused to eat because he didn't want the bowl she chose. She asked him repeatedly if he would eat it as it was, and he said, screamed, no. So she threw it out, leading to a bigger tantrum. I understand her refusal to switch bowls once he started screaming, as it would have sent the wrong message, but I don't see why she couldn't have switched it when he first said he didn't want that bowl calmly. There are a lot of instances like that. The most recent incident that brings me to Reddit. He is going through a new picky eating phase. He used to be a good eater of all things, vegetables included. Lately, all he wants is mac and cheese. He won't even happily eat other tasty things like pancakes. We only let him have it about every other week or so. As a result, he often refuses dinner until he is too hungry and eats anyway. My wife and I were at our wits' end until I discovered a hack. He would eat if it was off my or my wife's plate and fork. Sharing is annoying, so I get why my wife doesn't like it, but I think it is better than him not eating. My wife outright refuses to allow it to show him quote unquote natural consequences of being hungry when he won't eat. When he asks for a bite off her plate and she says no, he can eat the same thing off his own plate. Not wanting to undermine her, I always said no when he asked to eat off my plate. We actually got into a small fight over this last night. After the kids were asleep, I said I thought she was way too harsh and needs to be able to indulge when the kids go through phases. She said absolutely not on things like this because she is allowed to have her personal boundaries, and it would be setting a bad example for his little brother. He is 2. He eats enough and is not malnourished, by the way. He caves and eats something, but I feel bad. He is ultimately on his own. She does comfort and talk to him when he is behaving this way, but she never indulges. Yeah. So that is a lot. But you kind of have to just let them eat whatever they want to eat sometimes just to get them to eat. I know that, that he says that he's not malnourished, but I don't see, I guess I thought I was a harsh mom, but I don't see the problem with him eating off my plate or me feeding him he's 3, so you're kind of He's using his
Yeah.
fingers anyways, and most, I'm guessing, because toddlers
Agreed.
are not, like etiquette with forks and spoons and stuff.
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, with the bed stuff, I agree with that. Kalia tried to sleep with us when we first got her at 5, and I was like, she just wanted to cuddle.
Yeah.
And I'm too hot natured, and I couldn't stand it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, but if she was sick and I might be willing to like put a cot down in her room or something, but she's
Right.
never really been sick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the eating thing, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It feels like a battle. That's not the battle I would have picked.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not the hill I would have died on.
No,
You're gonna have bigger fights than that.
definitely.
But I think that's all. I think we're also coming from it as old parents of older children.
Yeah.
Not that we'd raise them from childhood, babyhood, but it's like we've been. It's like if you think they're fighting now, just wait till like they hit 8 or 9.
Right.
You're gonna have some real fights.
Yeah. And picky eaters, it doesn't just happen with 3-year-olds. That happens with, all the way up to, they're adults, because your taste buds change, and then you just decide you want to have that. And it's like that kind of thing where the kid wants the same thing every day for 2 weeks, and then you go to Costco and you buy the bulk, and then you bring that bulk home, and they're like, I don't want that no more.
4 times.
So many times. But it's because like they just, okay, I'm out of that phase. I'm next into my next phase. So I mean, like you said, that's not a fight I would fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to agree with him. I think. Well, I don't know especially if your kid's eating vegetables, but it just takes it being on my plate.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, fucking take them all.
Yeah.
I was like, here. I was like, I don't. Clea will eat some vegetables, but she's not a huge vegetable eater.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be like, count it as a victory that they're eating any vegetables.
Yeah.
But
No matter how they're eating it
Yeah.
is the thing. It's like, just let them eat.
I think mom and dad need to have some counseling therapy themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
To find, just so they don't fight about it.
Well, because the 2-year-old's probably going to do the same thing. So
Oh,
is she going to
yeah.
be that mean to the 2-year-old too?
Yeah.
Maybe not mean is the word, but like
Strict.
that strict,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so those are our Reddit stories.
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
Parenting's hard.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's the whole reason I feel like we started this podcast.
Yep.
It's like we were struggling.
Yep.
We wanted to whine and bitch about our kids.
Yep.
And we thought y'all find it entertaining.
Yep.
So, thanks to all our 11 listeners
Hi,
for
Mom.
listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids complain about having to leave the room when we record this podcast.
Tough shit.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.